Hey y'all, this is Jeannie. Welcome if you're new. So today I'm working on, I just thought I would bring y'all along while I'm just working on this journal. So I like watching videos like this, so I thought I would just give y'all a little glimpse into how my brain works. So I'm working on a couple of custom orders, and because they're similar styles and colors, I'm just going ahead and doing them. I mean, obviously they'll be different depending on what the person, specified that they would like. But the colors are similar enough that there are some things I can duplicate. So I will show y'all the covers. This is the cover of this one. She wanted some of the strawberry fabrics and then some of the linens. So this is one of the cottage style journals, but she did want some strawberries thrown in. So this is the cover I come up with for that. Here's the inside. I had made the cover a couple of weeks ago, but I needed to dive in and finish the inside. So I'll show you this other one. This is a felt-based cover. I did put a piece of cardstock on the inside to kind of firm it up. I love when they're soft without that, but I felt like it needed a little bit of stability. And then this is the embroidered piece that I put on the back of this, but I think I'm going to add maybe like another little piece, because I wanted some vertical fabrics on this, but she did love that patchwork style, so I need to make it a little more patchworky, I guess. I mean, I feel like that's patchwork too, but you know what I mean, like more of the squares. So since I've already stitched this and gotten it ready, for the most part, sorry y'all, I had a phone call. And I'm just gonna keep going. So let's see, where was I at? So I didn't know if she wanted the journal that this spun off of, I guess you could say, was the strawberry patchwork journals. And I should have known, that she probably would have enjoyed some red, but her top favorite colors were actually these. So obviously when you do a custom order, I kind of chat back and forth with you to make sure you're, liking the process. So she did want some of this wild strawberry fabric and this embroidery piece. She did love the daisy trim. So I think what I'm going to do is, since I've already stitched down everything, I'm just going to run this fabric through the sewing machine by itself and then glue it on the top. Same with this, same with this little piece. And then it'll still look like it's stitched on there, but so I'm just going to set all of this aside because I will lose those little pieces if I don't. So I've already, usually most, I would say 99% of the time, I do the covers and then I pull the pages. Sometimes I'll go ahead and pull the pages. It just depends. But so I've done the covers. I took most of yesterday. I filmed some and then I've pulled the pages for these. Got them ready to go. This one's just one signature. This one has 5. And again, same color scheme, style. I mean, for the most part. I do need to, y'all, I bought Post-it notes and a new pen because I lose my 900,000 pens that I have. For this reason, so that when I'm working, I can write it down. I need to add a couple of strawberry pages. Put it on here. But y'all, I don't know what I did with them. How many of you watch, raise your hand if you watch my videos all the time and you're like, just get it together, Jeannie. Just get it together. You would think in this big old desk, I would have a designated space for some Post-it notes and a pen. Okay, so next step after I've pulled the pages and cut them, I go ahead and I just take one signature, if there's multiples, one at a time, one journal at a time. And I go ahead, and my sewing machine's right here beside me on my desk. And I go ahead and I start adding all of the trims, the laces, pockets, any kind of stitching that I'm going to do. I go ahead and do that now while they're just naked pages. So I've already stitched down this that I was going to make a pocket. I usually stitch on the blank pages. By stitch, I mean like I'll put lace, trim, ruffle, tab, whatever. I usually choose to do that on these like a coffee dyed or avocado dyed or like the more blank pages. But every now and then I'll do it on one of the printed ones. So let's see. I have a jar of colored ribbons, and I don't know where I stuck it yesterday. I have my white trims in jars, like large jars like this beside me, but I also have just one that has colored lace pieces. That's what I'm trying to say. Found it. Found it. Just a giant jar. So she was fine with whatever. She was just like, you know what, just create. So I'm just going to pull out some. I feel like, and she also bought one of my strawberry journals, so I feel like she likes that super eclectic mix, you know. But I do have to keep pulling the cover down to make sure I'm matching up things. So again, I just go through and just cut all the pieces of laces and trims. I don't really see any colors in here these are more pastel-y type colors. Oh, that's fun. So I have this bright blue. Oh, that matches that so good. I just have this little snippet of this. I may stitch that on one. I don't know if that'll go all the way though. And then I like ripping some fabric pieces. To make some little ruffles with. It just depends. Like sometimes I do ruffles, sometimes I do tabs, sometimes I do laces, sometimes like this one I do a whole mix. This fabric is fun, but again, I don't know if doesn't really work with that one. Let's do some of this daisy fabric. She wanted this journal to kind of coordinate with not to be exactly the same, but to coordinate with the little strawberry one. And because this is a more fancy journal order, I will probably put one of these, well, probably a couple of these embroidered pockets inside. Okay, let me say that again. So, I will probably put a few embroidered linen pieces inside and make some pockets out of them. I love this fabric. Y'all, the time is just flying, and so it's almost June. I mean, it's still May. It's just mid-May. But, y'all, that means if I'm going to do Christmas in July, that's literally almost a month away. Like, what in the world? It's almost June. And now I'm, like, kind of stuck because I had planned on doing that. I definitely wanted to do a haul of, like, all of the Christmas items I've been thrifting. But, well, there's no but. I'm probably going to try to do it. I had someone contact me and ask me, hey, are you doing Christmas in July swap? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I hate to commit to something, not be able to follow through. So, I don't know. Like, where has the time gone? My point is, I've got to finish these up. And then I have like 3 more orders, which I will probably complete those by next week. And then I have 1 more order, custom order of like a bohemian style travel themed journal for her friend that's going on like 4 different mission trips this summer. So I kind of, I definitely have to do that. That's by July 4th. So see, I'll have to do that in June. But I thought, why not go ahead and make 3 or 4 with that? Like, I'll make a couple to sell. And then I was going to do one for a fundraiser type thing. I'll tell y'all more about that later. But anyways, now that I'm thinking, okay, I also wanted to do like a little, maybe a beach collection. I wanted to do a little golden book set of journals. I wanted to do a Heidi journal. Like, what? I have all these big plans, and I'm like, what was I thinking? Can I do that in a month's time? Telling you, these people that do multiple journals a day, and especially a month, like 60 and 70, like, that's amazing to me. That is absolutely amazing to me. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start doing this. So this is my first blank page, and I'm just going to go ahead and stitch. I can probably pull my sewing machine where y'all can see it. So let me do that. All right, I hope you can see that. And I hope this doesn't shake the camera too much. We'll just see. Look, y'all. So I got a little glue stopper in Happy Mail yesterday. My new friend Candy, all the way from California, sent me this. And I thought that was the sweetest thing. And I'll share it when I share like a little Happy Mail haul, but like the shop it was from. But it is so cute, and I've never had one of those, so I was so excited. Anyways, randomness in Jenny's brain. Okay, so to stitch on my ruffles, sometimes I'll go ahead and stitch them separately, and then I'll glue them down like a faux. Well, it's not a faux stitch, but I don't know what you call it. But anyways, I'm just gonna show y'all usually how I do my ruffles. I just go ahead and start ruffling it up a couple times, and then I put it under the machine, under the foot, is that what that's called? And I just go a little bit further and just keep folding it up. And I'm not one that's like everything has to be perfect. So they're not like perfect pleats, but... And then I do back stitch to make sure that's not gonna come off there. Y'all, I just got a new sewing machine. Well, it's new to me. It's several years old, but I had got it at our church yard sale last summer. But I just kept using my other sewing machine that I would stop 900 times a day it was just all janky and kept messing up. And then finally, a couple of weeks ago, my husband was like, Jenny, just get the other sewing machine out and learn how to use it. And y'all, it was not hard at all. I don't know why I put that off for so long. All right, and so usually to make the workflow a little quicker, I'll go ahead and do both sides of whatever page I'm doing. So that way, I mean, you've got all these in between. That way I'll have like 2 done, at once instead of just the one. So I'm going to stitch this lace down through here. And I should have done this while the camera was turned the other way. I put this wallpaper on my desk, y'all. Do you love it? Alright, so make sure your lace... Well, it doesn't matter if... Well, yeah, you don't want it backwards, but you can put it on this side of the page, or this side. And same, I don't glue it down. I just usually go ahead and go in here and zhuzh down. I don't know if y'all can see. And I used to take the time to like glue down and then go back and stitch it, but I just feel like that was just wasting time. Like there's no reason to not just go ahead and, I mean, if you're scared it's gonna go crooked, sure, you know, just make sure your glue's dry before you stitch it. But see, I have 2 sides already done. Look at this paper. So I got this in an estate sale the other day, and it was vintage gift wrap. She actually gave this to me, but isn't this so cute? So I had to put a little piece in here. I need to do an estate sale haul, y'all, but it was a lot of books and magazines and things like that. So I may flip through a couple, but I'm thinking I'm actually going to group it. I mean, group some of those books together and sell them like it's vintage quilting magazines. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen a peek of those, but I think I'm gonna group like 3 or 4 together at a time and sell them for, I don't know, like, you know, something cheap, $10 or something. So y'all stay tuned for that, because I'll probably just offer those up in that video. So then I just look and see, which it's kind of hard to tell right now because obviously you're going to want to see it with multiple signatures, but you don't need something on every page. Usually 2 per 5 or 6 pages is plenty once they're all together. And then now some of the trims I do actually just glue on, like I'll show you. As far as I can see, this is my last piece of little trim like this. But this matches those colors so beautifully. I actually think that would be cute just on a printed page. Or maybe on the vellum. That would be pretty. And usually the Fabri-Tac dries pretty clear on vellum. I think I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to glue that down on this page. It's about time for me to go buy glue again, y'all. If you know me, you know. I'm so thankful that I have to buy basic supplies, but I hate buying basic supplies. So I need to order me some glue, or I go by Hobby Lobby and grab my Fabri-Tac, but so yeah, that'll dry clear. Worst case, it doesn't. I'll put another piece of trim down this side, but it should dry just fine. And then usually on pages that are printed, say there's something cute on one side, but like it's just random writing on this one, I'll usually choose this kind of page to put a pocket. So I think that I will, let's see. I don't think I want an embroidered linen pocket on that, but just maybe a cute piece of fabric. This fun fabric. Wait, you know what? Maybe I need to do a little strawberry pocket. Here's a little snippet of that strawberry fabric. And I did not cut that straight. And again, I just take it to the sewing machine, So I used to have my sewing machine across the room, but I finally moved it over here beside me because why not? Like it just, well, in some ways I like being able to get up and take a break, but because I'm so scatterbrained, it helps to not have to get up and do that. So again, I don't, now if it's a piece of fabric or paper that I have one of and I cannot duplicate it, I will glue it down first. But if it's something like this that I can grab, something else to work if I need to. I just go ahead and stitch it. And I'm loving this new sewing machine because this one has all these little swirly, wavy kind of stitching. Mine did not have that. Y'all are probably cringing because I probably don't do this like a... If my sister's watching, she is, actually makes quilts and stuff. She's a fancy machine. She's a fancy sewing machine person. She probably just cringes watching me. So I'm going to leave some of these strings on here because she loved... the person who ordered this journal said she loved all the strings hanging and stuff. And then I need, oh wait, okay. This is why you check before you do this. So see, I don't love how this color just doesn't work with that. It's too bright. So I need to put, I think I'll put a sheet of coffee dye paper in between that to kind of, you know what? No, I just need to move that vellum piece. So I'm going to put this avocado dyed piece here. Then that, I still need a piece of coffee dye paper, I feel like. Well, that would be cute. That little strawberry book page image. And then, okay. Yes. So see how that just flows? Well, you can still see that. Would that bother y'all? I may move this to a different signature. I don't know. Wait, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I may have to swap this up over in this first signature. And then I need a sheet of coffee dyed paper right here. All right, so I need to reinforce this page. This was from a Granny Chic book. And I feel like this, you can tell where it's kind of perforated there. I think it, is that the right word? Perforated? I don't know. Anyways, I either use masking tape, fabric, Scotch tape, or washi. But lately I'm just loving masking tape again. So I'm going to just reinforce the center. And you should not use your fabric scissors for this. Again, if my sister's watching, she is so mad right now. So my sister moved in my basement for a couple years. That's a lie. She moved in for like a year. And I was so excited. And if y'all watch me, you know I talked about that a whole lot. Well, now she moved with her son and his children and his wife to South Alabama. So she, I mean, I don't blame her. I would move towards the beach too. But I miss her. Because I'm used to just walking downstairs and saying, hey. I mean, she was my Hobby Lobby, y'all. Like, I would go to her before I went to Hobby Lobby. Because you think I have a lot of crafty things. Oh, my goodness. It's just craziness. It's craziness. She has 64 years of crafty things. So, let's see. Let me show y'all this fabric I got. I got this bright green fabric, polka dotted fabric, the other day at an estate sale. And I was like, oh my goodness, that would be perfect in these strawberry journals. Now, I went the last day of 4 to this said estate sale. So, oh, while I hit the jackpot in books and stuff, it just kind of makes me so sad at the fabrics I missed out on because, oh my goodness, there were still 3 boxes, giant boxes left, but, you know, I picked through them and just got what really jumped out at me. But I cannot imagine the fabric that I missed out on because obviously if people don't junk journal, fabrics is still, I mean, you know, a lot of people are young girls are starting to quilt and, you know, people frame fabric and in little like embroidery hoops. I mean, you know, it's, I guess you could say it's a fad, like floral fabric. So yeah, I'm sure I missed out. Anyway, so I folded this page over. I'm going to make it a little tuck spot, but I think I'll go ahead and just stitch this down right here, and then I'll let y'all watch me do this one more time because I know it's so much fun hearing this loud sewing machine in your ear and watching me. But you know, when I've had a lot of people, honestly, several people saying, why don't you do more, you know, create with me's? And thank y'all for that. But it's because I'm so scatterbrained and it's hard for me to really, I don't feel like I'm a good teacher. But when I first started junk journaling, I loved watching those that I love watching everything. I loved watching their whole process. So I get that some of you, again, I'm so humble because I can't imagine who, but I know some of you enjoy watching my process. I do want to say you always need to cut a way longer piece than you think you need when it comes to a ruffle, because as you can see, it ends up being a little shorter than you think. Now what I usually do, especially if it's fabric that I don't have a lot of, but I want to use bits and pieces throughout, you make sure you space it out. So you'll put, you know, a little bit down on, so as I go later in the book, I'll make them more towards the bottom so that they'll kind of flow. Okay. That's kind of bugging me because I feel like it's a little bit off-centered. But I feel like the person who's ordering this, I feel like she's like me. She's super eclectic and just likes the whole junky, you know, vibe of a journal. Okay, see how this did go a little crooked? That's because I didn't glue it down first. You can always fix that. So what I'll do to fix that is probably put a little piece of washi, like just to right here, so it'll kind of straighten it out. And I'll do all that as I'm doing like final touches. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to put all the pockets and all the ruffles and all the trims, laces. Then after I've done that, see y'all, I've already lost all the signatures. Like where did I put them? I'll tell y'all what. Oh, they're over here. So after I do all that, then I will sew the signatures in the book. And which, if you know, you know, that's my least favorite part, but it's never as big of a deal as I anticipate in my head. So I will sew them in. I will actually do a hidden binding in this one probably, so that you'll still see this from the outside. And then after I stitch them in, then I will go through page by page and I'll be like, oh, well, this needs a tag and a couple of things here. And then, oh, well, this needs a little tab here. Or this is kind of off-centered. I need to put a ruffle here. And as I do that, I will do the little faux ones. Like if I see I need to add something, I will just stitch the fabric on the machine and then I'll glue it down. So I just go page by page and decide the washi that I mentioned a while ago. Like, oh, this needs washi right there. And anyways, that's how my process will go throughout today in this journal and the other journal. This is Thursday morning, pretty early, so I will probably get a good bit ahead by, I try to stop at like, I would like to work till 4 or 5 ideally every day, but because I have grandbabies and grown kids that stop by, which is, I would never ever, I wouldn't trade that for $1 million. But my husband, you know, like he comes in anytime, I don't know, mid lunches to mid afternoon, depending. So a lot of days I do stop. I stop and I go spend time. Most days I do spend time with him because, you know, I just do. So Usually I wrap things up around 3 or so, but those days that he's running late, I do stay back here until 4 or 5, and I'm super productive. But anyways, I try to get the most I can done from about 6 a.m. till about 3 p.m. And that said, I'm hoping by today that I'll have these totally done, except maybe the last bits of ephemera. And it's possible, like I said, that I'll totally finish one or both of them up today, but it will probably be more towards Friday. So anyways, I thank y'all so much for stopping by and hanging out with me. And if I put this up today, if you have any ideas, throw them at me. But it's very likely that this may go up after these journals have already been shipped off to their homes. But I still love your feedback. And I just thank y'all so much for watching. And I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.